Let's turn now to the ongoing saga of Republican Congressman George Santos and one of his strangest lies to date. He made this claim back in 2020 on a New York radio show.
I actually went to school on a volleyball scholarship.
You did?
I did, yeah. When I was in Baruch, we were the number one volleyball
Did you graduate
team.
from Baruch? Did you graduate from there?
Yeah.
So did I.
I did.
So did I.
Oh, very cool. So, great school, great institution, very liberal, but very good professors who don't show their bias, which is very interesting. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it's funny that we went to play against Harvard, Yale, and we slay them. We slay them. We were champions across the entire Northeast corridor. Every school that came up against us, they were shaking at the time. And it's funny, I was the smallest guy, and I'm 6'2". I sacrificed both my knees and got very nice knee replacements from HSS playing volleyball. That's how serious I took the game.
Yeah, well, that's how serious you're taking politics as well. Remember this name, folks, George Santos.
Yeah, I
remember
I think people remember this.
I'm gonna
so
remember
amazing.
it.
So he went to Baruch. The professors, it's good. I know that all the professors are very glad that he's talking about how good they are. They're not biased. Oh. And that's good.
This whole thing is really
Harvard.
sad.
They slayed Yale.
Santos claiming
that's sad.
To have
He's got 2 knee replacements.
He didn't have.
He's got 2. That's sad. How young is he?
He didn't have knee replacements. He did not play volleyball for Baruch College. This guy is a pathological liar.
What?
It is a really, I mean, first of all, it's troubling. He's not fit to serve. What should be done? Blah, blah, blah. But he's also not well. Meanwhile, new reporting indicates that some Republicans knew about Santos's lies. A New York Post interview with Santos first called his lies, quote, a running joke among Republicans. And a New York Times article goes into further detail, quote, in late 2021, as he prepared to make a second run for a suburban New York City House seat, George Santos gave permission for his campaign to commission a routine background study on him. Some of Mr. Santos's own vendors were so alarmed after seeing the study in late November of 2021 that they urged him to drop out of the race and warned that he could risk public humiliation by continuing. When Mr. Santos disputed key findings and vowed to continue running, members of the campaign team quit, according to 3 of the 4 people the New York Times spoke to with knowledge of the study. NBC News has not independently verified the New York Times report. The Times requested responses from Santos's lawyer, who said a comment would be inappropriate given the ongoing investigations. His congressional spokeswoman did not respond. I've never seen anything like this.
That was
how does this end?
breathtaking. The knees, the professors.
I don't know. It's not good.
Slaying Harvard and Yale.
I don't
Donnie
like it.
Deutsch. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
The Republican Party needs to do something here.
It's interesting.
It keeps going.
Yeah, he's obviously not well. You know, I'm rooting for the Republican Party to keep him around. You know, if you can lump the Republican Party and say they are the party of Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, George Santos, they're crazy, they're liars. Keep them around. Let's because it used to, you can brand a party the way you used to brand the Democrats with the squad. Now that's gotten quiet, and whatever party gets branded by the most extreme side obviously loses. Keep them around, Republicans. We love it. That's who you are. You are George Santos. You are the party of untruths. Keep them around. Good for the Democrats.
Matt Lewis, what a clown show.
You have to wonder, Joe, what it's like to be a Republican staffer in 2023. You know, you have conservative leaders allegedly groping you in cars. You're working for people who pretend they say that they're Jewish. And make up colleges they went to, say they worked at Goldman Sachs. It has to be an interesting time to be like a mainstream Republican operative working for these campaigns. And they're leaving. You know, what they should do is actually come forward and leak some of this information. But I have to think, Joe, to a certain degree, Donald Trump was a magnet for this, that people like George Santos in the past might have concluded, I'll run a different kind of grift, but maybe now politics, and specifically the Republican Party, is an appealing place for someone like George Santos. Like, I'm not convinced it's a coincidence that he chose this moment in time and this career to go into.
Yeah, and truth has been so devalued in the Republican Party. No, I think it's a great point. And again, we're sitting here, we're talking about George Santos. One of the reasons why I'm making light of him talking about knee replacements and lying about being a volleyball player, Jonathan Lemire, is because I actually find it far more serious that Kevin McCarthy, who now runs the Republican Party in the House of Representatives, talked about how Donald Trump was a threat to American democracy, how he was responsible for what happened on January the 6th.
Right.
How actually Kevin McCarthy had said while Donald Trump was running that he believed Donald Trump was taking money from Vladimir Putin. Then Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, told him to be quiet. There might be tape recorders on, but it was out there and got it. He believed Trump was taking money from Vladimir Putin. That's Kevin McCarthy. Then McCarthy says on January 6th what he says, and then he goes down and he tries to completely wash that to the side. And then you take Lindsey Graham. Here's another example. Again, why would a George Santos come to this party? Because Lindsey Graham says the same thing about Donald Trump. Then he sucks up to Donald Trump. Lindsey Graham says one thing when they're trying to deep six Merrick Garland's nomination after Justice Scalia dies. Then he says a completely different thing when he's trying to get Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. These people are lying every day. We could say the same thing about the documents. They're saying the classified documents don't matter. And then a couple of months later, suddenly classified documents are the most important thing. So why am I joking about Santos? Because this guy's a clown. It's one seat. The real disease is what's happening with the leaders in the Senate and in the House. They're just lying to the American people constantly, and the consequences are huge to American democracy.
Yeah, and McCarthy has refused to really condemn Santos, and he won't even commit to not putting him in.
Why should he? He's doing the same thing on a much larger level. He's yelling at Donald Trump on January 6th when American democracy is on the line.
Yep.
And he lies about that later. So, yeah, that versus a clown from Long Island talking about knee replacements. What Kevin McCarthy's doing, what Lindsey Graham's doing, what one Republican after another Republican's doing is far worse than what this clown is doing.